So welcome everybody for our new video on this channel. Be that looking something up on a map, mean unfolding a huge piece of paper you kept in your glove box and driving past the turn of the Desmonios in the time it took find section A53 fast for a few years. So now thanks to Google Map you can zoom in so far on the nearly any street in the world. That whether you want a bodega in the Big Apple or just a regular urban in Kansas, you are not bound to have any problem. But this unpretended level of detail didn't happen overnight. Google managed to get a foothold in the online mapping scene back in the middle 200th century when it acquired were two technologists who had the idea to let the people scroll around a map without having to refresh a novel concept. That helped set Google Map apart early on, but they need more than just a pretty interface. Fortunately, Google is the first and the foremost data company. So they often start by working directly with national and local government offices to determine not only exactly where every road is, but also how lanes are placed and allocated on freeways to give an accurate base experience. Unfortunately, oftentimes the government wouldn't or isn't able to provide a completely accurate picture of how an area is laid out. You saw this is a where Google Street View come in. You can learn more about that up here, but the whole isn't the Street View just a way of users to virtually see the answer. As it turns out, is now Google also uses Street View internally in order to double check and tweak its existing mapping data as the Street View car takes photos of its surroundings. Special AI can recognize to and signs caught by camera and set them to be analyzed by Google servers to determine not only lane placement and traffic restriction, but also among the other thing, even the proper addresses of local business. All of this information is then also used to prevent maps from giving you bad direction by, say, for example, sending you the wrong way down here, one way down and up. A one-way street that would be bad. Adding another layer to map is Google's access to a huge amount of satellite data, partly from its acquisition of satellite imaging service Keyhole in 2004, and partly from the government sources. They use top-down views of street market to further improve accuracy, and they have even got to the point where they can use satellite imagery to extrapolate the shape and footprint of buildings, not only to give you 3D views in the Google Earth, which are super cool, but also enable to see outline of this building in regular map view. So by intelligently combining data from all of these source map can construct quite an accurate picture of any given patch of land. But even Google cannot completely automate things, yet they also use human employees in a project called Atlas to make necessary adjustment. One of this team's common task is to investigate user error report and to tweak the route on map layer that clearly don't match up with the recent satellite image or street views. So it capture and this kind of user reporting reflects how crowdsourcing is another major twist in the Google Map engine. And I am not just talking about the photos you see on the business listing either. Google relies partially on volunteers to map areas it may have limited data on, something that is especially important in less developed countries where it is harder for Google to send vehicle or get accurate map data for a government of government. Of course, Google uses other tricks to flush out the exchange. Once upon a time, the license database from the yellow pages to dramatically explain how many people's maps would show. But these days, listening are pulled from the other public source and from the business owners who are eager to take advantage of the visibility that Google Maps provide. Owners of large facilities have even submitted for floor plans and granted Google permission to cite surveys to help you find your way around. This is particularly useful for sport areas and shopping malls and airports, and Google even works with a third-party service that keep track of gas prices by looking at the credit data, card data, and even the getting direct data feed from the major gas station chains. Finally, whether you realize you have signed up for it or not, Google also uses location service and GPS on your phone help Google understand on top of where it is, how to get there, and how many square feet of ratio space is available, what times there your favorite watering hole gets crowded, and do not show you, but they probably know the demographic makeup of the planet.